I'm Amy Goodman, host of Democracy Now!, which is a public radio television news hour on 700 stations around the world and at democracynow.org. And these are Democracy Now! Producers Nicole Salazar and Sharif Abdel-Quddus. We're here to cover the convention. We were in Denver last week covering, well, what's called Breaking with Convention, War, Peace, and the Presidency, from the streets to the suites to the convention floor. And yesterday we were doing that work inside and out. I was inside the convention interviewing delegates from Alaska to Minnesota. Sharif and Nicole were outside. They were covering a protest at 7th and Jackson, and we'll begin the story there with Nicole.
Hi. Yes, Sharif and I had just come down from our office to see what was going on. We'd seen all these riot police moving down the street, and we followed them for only 2 blocks from our office when suddenly we saw police coming from all direction, starting to try and move the crowd in a certain direction. We were complying with their order to move, but at the same time I was filming throughout. I filmed one officer telling another person who also said he was press with the Associated Press that he didn't care that he was press. But I was moving back. They pushed us into this parking lot. I saw one protester running by me trying to get away, get thrown down to the ground with an officer who had a wooden stick, battering arm type stick. She was thrown to the ground. I was trying to move back, but still filming. But at this point, getting a little nervous, I held up my press pass and was saying, you know, I'm press. I'm trying to move. And at that point, they just overwhelmed me, slammed me back into a car, grabbed me from behind, and threw me to the floor, saying, "Get your face on the floor." And I was just clutching my camera and my press pass as fast as I could. One officer, put his foot on my back. Another was grabbing my leg. I don't know, trying to pull me away or drag me, I don't know what. And, at that point, even though I had been shouting, press, there was no way out, so I just stopped, and I lay there, and I could see blood pooling under my face.
Hi, I'm Sharif Abdel-Quddus. I was with Nicole most of the time, assisting her in filming the protests on the street and the police crackdown. When I saw her being violently arrested, I tried to walk up to her. I held out my press pass. I told the police that I was press and that she was my co-worker. They should release her. I was very quickly tackled by 2 or 3 cops, shoved violently against a wall, thrown to the ground, kicked in the chest twice. I have scars on my arm as well as on my chest and back. I repeated that I was with the media, that I was press, that I had RNC credentials, that I had a photo credential as well. This was all ignored, and I was proceeded to be arrested. Both Nicole and I are held with, we still have pending charges of felony riot charges that stay with us. We were released last night. Amy Goodman was charged with...
I was charged with a misdemeanor, obstructing police administration, obstructing a, quote, peace officer. Well, why? I was on the convention floor doing my job, interviewing delegates. It was the first day of the Republican convention. I got a call on my cell phone that Sharif and Nicole had been arrested at Jackson and 7th. I just ran down there with our videographer, Rick Rowley, to get them out. I thought there must be some mistake, there must be some confusion. I raced the site. I saw the riot police lined up. I went up to one of the officers and I said, "Sir, I'd like to talk to your commanding officer. Our producers are inside. They need to be released." At which point he pulled me across the line, pulled my arms forcibly back, handcuffed me, pushed me down on the ground, and said I was under arrest as well. I said, "This is ridiculous. We are reporters. You can see fully." I saw Sharif across the way. I was looking for Nicole. I had heard that they were both bloodied. I went over to where Sharif was because the police officers, after I insisted, brought me there. I said, "We are wearing our press credentials," and both Sharif and I showed our credentials, and I had my top security credentials for being on the convention floor interviewing the delegates. I said, "Look, I've got those credentials on the convention floor." And so Secret Service came over and ripped the credential off. At which point I said, "I demand a receipt for that," which they didn't give. I also had a jacket on because I was interviewing delegates on the floor. They took my jacket. I haven't gotten my clothes back. They arrested us. I demanded to see Nicole. We were deeply concerned about her because we knew that she'd been bloodied, that her face was bloody. We couldn't find her. I couldn't see her. When they were taking me onto the police wagon to take me to jail, Nicole was on that van We were taken to the jail. I was brought into the police garage where they were holding people who were charged with misdemeanor in the pens. I said, this is ridiculous, talking to the officers there, the corrections officers. I should not be arrested. You can see I have my credentials. And behind them was a St. Paul. We were arrested by Minneapolis police, but behind them in the garage, in the pens, was a St. Paul police officer. I said, this is ridiculous. We shouldn't be arrested. I am a journalist. And he started shouting, you shut up, you shut up. I said, I demand to know your name or your badge number. Wouldn't say it, just said, shut up, shut up. We were processed. I was processed for a few hours, charged. I got out, and then Sharif and Nicole, who were also jailed, eventually got out, though they faced felony charges. This is just unacceptable. I mean, the press are the eyes and ears of a democracy, and when you shut those, your democracy is imperiled.